Good morning, everyone. This is Judith King Matheson, once again with my wonderful allies of freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and living from our hearts. I am very, very pleased again today to be with Kim and Joy as we do a theme today that's very significant to the times in which we're living. This theme today is a message of peace that comes from our hearts to your hearts. And as we open today, we're also blessed to have with us Thomas Marty Tetemar and my friend Sylvia Parker. And I see someone else is coming on now to join us. So I would suggest as I open this sacred space today, I would like to invite you all to simply create sacred space in your own hearts in the form of a prayer to listen to the wise person that wrote some words to me just yesterday, who also was taped in our program when we were taping Spiritual Leaders several years ago from many, many perspectives. And Lev Nathan is a very good friend of mine, whom I trained under after I trained under the late Barbara Marks Hubbard with the Shift 2012, Birth South 2012 project that was created worldwide. And Lev Nathan is a wonderful leader that is a vision for creating an alliance and a viable future. And that speaks to many hearts of many human beings living all over planet Mother Earth now. We know we're going through a great time of struggle and birth, just like the labor of a child. Sometimes coming through is not easy for both the baby or the mother, but bringing forth new projects, we actually see that we are actually the project. We're here to learn, to love, and heal, and change ourselves from the inside out. So I would invite all of us today on the theme of peace to simply go into your hearts as I'm sharing the wonderful wisdom of my friend Lev Nathan and see how it speaks to you. And then we as a group will be coming in conversation around what our journey has been and how it relates to the theme of peace. So I'd invite you all to take deep breaths and go into your hearts as I seek to share the wisdom of my friend Lev and help others to hear that peace is always coming as we be still and listen. The winter solstice is a precious time when light returns. These past weeks, I have experienced a descent into the depths of my personal and our collective pain. The shadows, the doubts, the fears, the despair, the hopelessness, the path, and the pain, as I notice them downward, pull me more and more at this time of year. I have for the first time seen in the darkness that such times are a special time to set aside the space to simply be. To feel the anger behind the anger. To feel the hurt and the pain of traveling this journey of life. A precious time in solstice, in the shortest day of the year, is a time to honor grief, to not run away from pain, but to honor grief with as much consciousness and awareness that I can muster. Emerging with the light of solstice, with a subtle dimension of beyond the pain, is compassion, humility, and courage for the year to come. This year, I had to dig deep with all my might, and at the same time, to let go and surrender all of what I cherished and hold dear. It's hard to be human when all around us we see the mess humanity is making for future generations, the trauma that the children will grow up with and have to face. In order to keep going with a clear mind and heart, I need to take care of myself, quite simply. And I need to call out to the wisdom of the ancestors, those who have come here before, whose lives spoke a deep commitment to building a culture that we can feel proud to pass down to future generations. This holiday season, let's remember the work and the writings of such leaders as W.E.A. Du Bois, a civil rights activist, an environmentalist with a desire to see peace in our world for everyone. We hope that his words, "I take my stand for peace," bring you all hope and inspire you to create peace in your own communities. During these difficult times in this holiday season, may you and I and we also find the strength and support to take the time to cultivate the good that grows from all our hearts. With our efforts together for unity, for regeneration, and for creative, heartfelt striving in 2023 that continues to grow and to build a new earth where the destruction of the past will be healed, the lighting of the eighth fire of the Anishinaabe people's prophecy, of which the land and territory that I am blessed to live and learn, continues to teach me of the deep spirituality of vision and action for peace, and of the late grandfather William Commander's message to us all that humanity must learn to work together. And so as I speak from this wonderful Owl Wellness Learning Center, may I greet you all today on this solstice, the day after the shortest day of planet Mother Earth's light. As we see in each of our hearts today, we're discussing a very important theme. We're discussing the theme of peace. And so as we come together this morning, we're going to be discussing what has our journey been like in the last 4 weeks, and what shall our journey look like in the coming new year as the light reemerges to bring forth an expanded consciousness that in every new day, all of us have a role to play, to discover, to use our creative gifts, and to bring forth light to the darkness of our lives and those we love around us. And so it is, I greet you today on a subject of solstice, the shortest day of the year, and us moving into the light of an emerging new year, celebrating the birth of a message, and the message of love being born in all humanity's hearts as we emerge as a new species to honor and acknowledge we are the ones we've been waiting for, and it's time to light the eighth fire of right, real, authentic, and genuine relationship. So on that note, I invite you all to now come back to this wonderful emergence of a new humanity, waking up to the best in ourselves and each other. And so it is, in blessings and gratitude, we're going to discuss the theme called Peace today. Thank you so much, Chi Miigwech, and merci to all. So that's a lot of profound wisdom that flew and flows and flies and emerges from the heart of a beautiful soul. And for many people, you can go on our website and listen to the conversation with Lev that we taped many years ago. So this vision for a sustainable future that he's working on is very much related to what we're all working on as we emerge from the darkness to begin to grasp new states of consciousness, new ideas, and new inspirations. And what does peace really mean for all of us in these times of great challenges? So again, Kim, would you like to open up the floor and let us know what you've been doing as it relates to the theme and to the words and message of Lev today?
Yeah, that was such a great opening, Judith. I appreciate you taking the time to read that for us and have us get grounded and centered in our hearts. And peace is such an important thing, especially not just at this time of year, but especially at this time of year when there's so much going on and there's the hustle and the bustle of the holidays. No matter what holiday you follow, a lot of them seem to happen right now in this time, in this month of December. And there's just so much going on, and it's that balance of balancing the busyness of the season and also taking that time to experience peace within our hearts and our souls, and taking time for that self-care to relax and renew and refresh ourselves at this time. So on the theme of peace, um we've definitely been searching for that in our household. As I said, there's a lot going on. We have found both of our daughters are have fallen sick the past couple weeks, so that's put a damper in our travel plans. um because it's the little one, Abby, the baby, she has RSV, so that's not an illness that I would like to spread to my mom or anyone else who might be immunocompromised or anything like that. So we've made the decision for now to just stay home until they're feeling better. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll travel next weekend for the new year. We're not sure yet. Um, but it's been, I don't remember the last time that we actually stayed home for Christmas. And so being home and having the tree, we have the tree, the decorations and all of that, having that time to just be, um, is a blessing. Even though that, our families are disappointed that they can't see us like they want to, being able to have that time is really nice to just kind of sit and relax and de-stress. And I already rearranged my schedule, so I took the entire week off, so it's not like I have work to do. So being able to not travel and just sit and be is, I think, going to be pretty nice, even though we'll be missing people. And that's what technology is for. We have phones, we have Zoom, we have, there's always other opportunities. We just want to keep everyone safe right now. So we're finding that peace here in the home, in our home, that I often feel like we sometimes travel to escape the demands of here and to escape the demands of like the household chores and running around and getting things done. um but we're invited now to create that peace in our hearts and in our home here and now. So I think that's a great invitation for each of us, that we get to create that. We're creating the peace each and every day, each and every moment of our lives. And we get to take that and then bring it with us into the next year. So this week, or this season, this time, and the time of the solstice, I would invite everyone listening to think about, what are you doing to create peace for you right now, right here, in the midst of your busy travel plans, if you have them, or, getting presents wrapped, which I haven't done. So if you haven't, you're not alone. But in the midst of all of that, what are you doing? What are you doing to create that peace and joy? And can you sit with it and can you be with it for, I don't know, 5 minutes? And then take that practice with you into the coming year, because it's going to be so powerful. So that's what I'm learning. That's it. Life is the greatest teacher, isn't it?
Thank you so much for saying that, because it so affirms what Lev and myself in some way was going through. In the presence of being present to ourselves is the greatest gift of Christmas. And in as much sadness and sorrow we also have joy that we must learn to tap into. And I think what I see in the North American culture is we spend a good amount of time running away from ourselves at Christmas, which is the most sacred time of the year, such as in solstice, to simply be still and listen. What is our heart telling us that is so important to unwrap so that we can see the glory of what the message of all traditions have been talking about for thousands and thousands of years, as the wise men were searching for a star. We're still searching in the 21st century. We're still searching despite all the darkness. We're searching for the light of embracing something deeper, something we don't understand intellectually. And so this journey forward to the always more, of living from our full divine spiritual potentiality, is so powerful. The image at this time from all traditions to be still. We don't have to keep unwrapping a lot of presents. We are the presents for each other. So thank you, Kim. I think through the beautiful newborn child of your children and your family, you're great teachers for the rest of us to learn how important it is to value sometimes that in sickness is the greatest gift, for us to learn new ways to be present as a family. And family is what is most important. Joey, family, you're heading home to family. You're on the road. And I know you're such a close person to your family. And it's integral to all of us to be with our families in so many different new ways now. So Joey, update us on your journey forward to the always more of what does family mean for you in 2023?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for being my Christmas present. It's so good to be with you all here today. And Kim, my heart goes out to you and your kiddos too. They start to feel better. Sometimes, being sick teaches a lot of things. Unwell for a little bit, but then when we get better again, it's the celebration of feeling good and lively and what we learned from that. Part of this trip, I think what we were saying earlier about like inner peace is that, or peace in general, I guess, that it's a external and internal process that we can do things to adjust our external environment to try and bring peace, which is helpful. And then the other side of that is how do we build that internally? So that's one of the things I did while doing this road trip. It was like 3 days to get to where I'm at now, was stopping at hot springs. So Southern Colorado, Pagosa Springs had some hot springs there. And usually that's what I try to do when I do road trips, because there's something special about being able to be in the ancient waters that come from the center of the earth, to kind of meet those two in the middle, the external and the internal piece at the same time. There's almost nothing better that kind of forces you to relax, or at least urges you to relax, and then that process of actually surrendering to the loveliness that the hot water brings, to be able to get that deeper sense of relaxation. And it really sets a tone for everything else. Even last night here at mom's house, she has a jacuzzi. So we went in the hot water there too. And it's like being able to have that somatic experience of full body relaxation, as well as, jets and the minerals from the hot springs and so forth. It just naturally kind of allows you to have a different sense of peace. And especially like Kim last year, I did not travel for the holidays. So it was actually like a little foreign at first, because I'm used to seeing everybody, as well as like the missing of my family. But at the same time, it was the opposite side of that, of like, it just brought me such deep inner peace that I didn't expect. That was kind of the same thing of like, surrendering to that of like, oh yeah, even though there's these opposites of feelings, I'm here now, and it's different than usual, but also it's like it was very good for me. And so to be on the other side of that now, where I'm back to doing what I usually do, it's really nice to mix that, to where I'm hustling and bustling, like Judith is saying, busy, traveling and driving, but at the same time building in those places for rest. Because a few years ago I did this in one day, and it was also ended up snowing, so I was driving a truck loaded in the snow, and it ended up being like 21 hours to 23 hours of driving. And I'm like, I'm not doing that again. So that's where, like, I'm gonna turn this into 3 days, stop at the hot springs, enjoy myself. And it was really nice. So yeah, and then like I really appreciated the opening, Judith. I think that's something we kind of all experience, of having difficulties in our lives, and then finding ways to surrender to that process, that it's not something that we have to change, or even like quickly become okay with, but more just the journey versus the destination. That like as we begin to align our inner world with our outer world, that they naturally kind of dance together and eventually become more unified, I guess. And I think that's where that peace comes from, of, being human is hard. And I think a lot of the difficulty we have is because we want it to be a certain way, instead of just allowing it to kind of be a natural unfolding process and enjoying the journey itself. And so I think that's our biggest struggle as humans, that I still struggle with now, and I'm sure I will with the rest of my life. But it's a refinement process. So yeah, it's always good to be with you all here today. Thanks for all the words of wisdom.
Well, thank you, Joey. And this journey within, to tap into the sadness, because in as much sadness as we have, we also have joy. So we don't do that interior work of honoring that. For example, in the last few weeks, a lot of people are experiencing the death of loved ones. And my younger sister passed. And what a powerful time to celebrate a person's life who died on her terms, who went back to spirit world the way she would have chosen. She would not have wanted to be a vegetable. So a heart attack took Donna very, very quickly, just before Christmas. Totally unexpected. But the journey of listening to the sacredness of her life through the eyes and the love of all her friends whose lives she had touched, because she loved to dance. And she had a lot of pain, like every human being has different issues of pain as we go through our lives, through deep loss. And in the North American culture, we spend a lot of time helping people to be feeling better by buying a lot of stuff. But we forget that the most sacred thing that we can have is the relationship with our own selves. And so when we find something that gives us joy, and we live our compassion and our joy together, we can create a life that affects others around us. Because when we come, people realize we are an energy that's real and authentic to who we are. So in as much sadness and pain that my sister had, she lived the last 20 years of her life from joy. She was a teacher. And we're all teachers, and we're all students. And so peace is what we make of our lives. And so we see Sylvia and Marty, and I know Sylvia has a big heart, Marty has a big heart, and they're joining us today with their hearts to share a little bit of their story. How does peace and this topic relate to your journey forward to the always new, despite the pain? How can we use our compassion in service to a greater goal? So Sylvia, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I mean, I'm quite happy to say that the journey of 28-year relationship going down the drains, in hindsight, I gotta thank him. He gave me my freedom, and to say, like, what am I truly here for? Because I thought really my identity was taking care of that family. So even a redefining of family will have to be for my own self. So yes, I was happy to say that I just completed a compilation book with Take Back Your Power, Stop People Pleasing, and Learn How to Give Yourself Time First. And so you got to teach what you need to learn. So that was given to me also as a blessing. Yeah, so just been on a couple summits, and I'm kind of happy that I'm kind of finding my way through this journey we do call life. I quite like how you said that it's the journey, not the destination. So really feeling the surrendering. Of course, COVID helped myself to surrender, and did I say surrender some more? But there's many verses that I kind of attracted to in the Bible. Like my daughter posted up in the window in the kitchen, may she stand with strength and with dignity, and may she laugh without fear of the future. So Proverbs 31:25. So there's just some strength in some of those verses that really have held me feeling the peace. Feeling the peace and knowing, I say God wins in the end. So just give me my footsteps to where the direction I need to be. Who may I speak with? What do you want me to say? Right. So I certainly enjoy this conversation, and I love seeing you on Sunday. And I love that the ancestors did give me the message that they see me dancing, and I'm like, yeah, I certainly have been doing lots of that. So, so it's kind of nice, the confirmation of we were on at the stage and like freedom.
Well, I love the exchange of energy. It was such a joyful service. And I think a lot of people are finding there's something missing that's not feeding their souls now. And a lot of people are kind of turned off of traditional whatever. So I believe you and Thomas did something absolutely amazing at your home last night. And I know I was invited to Solstice over in Cantley. And our Indigenous friends always celebrate solstice for a reason, because it connects us back to the Mother Earth, of which we're all born, and whose ancestors we all have, whose bones are on the earth. So when I look at Indigenous spirituality, it really speaks to me of the times that are emerging and the lighting of the eighth fire that was prophesized, that there would come a time where humanity would awaken to the call within our own core to begin to restore relationship with the earth, relationship with the cosmos, and relationship with each other in much deeper, profound ways. And Thomas, you're a wonderful leader in this area, in this watershed. And I know you've been on a journey for many years. We're old friends. And I just love it when I go to a church service and all of a sudden I see old friends popping. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what we're talking about today, how it affects your heart.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be with like-minded people. And when I'm listening to everybody, it sounds like we're all on the same page, except we are painters and have a little different color of hue, or different words, but really to say the same thing. There's something I'm curious about, though. It sounded like half an invitation. So can Kim explain what RSV is? Because I thought it was like a RSVP. What's RSV?
Yeah, what is that, Kim?
It's one of the illnesses that's out there, and in particular, it's more dangerous for babies and older people who might be immunocompromised. So there's been a lot of concern about babies under 6 months old ending up in the hospital on oxygen and things like that, because it really, there's so much mucus in this particular illness that it makes it difficult to breathe. So we were particularly concerned because our baby is under 6 months old, and the doctor said she does have some wheezing going on, but it's not to the point where it's impacting her negatively. So, and we do think she's actually on the mend. The past couple days, she's been smiling a bit more and getting a little more energy. This morning, she was mostly happy. So she is on the mend. It was just, as a mom, that's kind of scary when the doctor says this is what's going on. And I'm just like, oh my God, but she's going to be fine, but we're going to keep her home so that, we don't pass that on to anyone else. It's not a good Christmas present,
Pardon me for being specific. I wanted to understand what the 3 letters meant, like respiratory syndrome,
Oh,
viral, or
I don't know.
oh, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, we have to Google it.
Okay.
It is respiratory something virus. I don't know what that middle.
Well, is your baby eating any solid food yet?
A little. She was just prior, but for the past week since she's been sick, she hasn't. We've just been doing milk, and
So,
just nursing.
so I have a suggestion. I'm not a
Okay.
doctor. I'm not a doctor. Yet, when I started seriously studying spiritual healing back in 1994, we were taught when we did body alignments, and if we were to find an indication that something was viral, we were told that lettuce is a very good antiviral food. So
Oh,
if you wanted to juice some lettuce juice and put it in with the milk, maybe that would assist.
Clear up the mucus.
that's good
Yeah,
to know. I'll try
and
whatever.
can I ask a personal question? The milk, is it like canned milk or
It,
you know,
it's breast
preparation?
milk. Yeah, it's natural. It's breast milk.
Okay, so then I suggest that whoever's providing the milk, that they eat lettuce.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And something else, because the identity of the baby is tied into your psychic etheric body, I would suggest that you, for yourself, you take cayenne pepper, put it on your feet, and then put socks over. And to be a carrier oil, you put castor bean oil on. So you
Mm.
want a pair of socks that you can always get rid of eventually, preferably cotton or wool. And it's amazing. You let it work while you're sleeping, right?
Mhm.
And then whether you're providing milk or you're providing hugs, your energy field is going to affect your baby's energy field. And something I just learned, interesting to me, is that when a woman is pregnant, forgive my language, but when a woman is pregnant, I think it makes sense. What happens is that if the woman has certain ailments in her health, the fetus will produce the chemicals to heal the mother,
Oh.
because it's a very selfish baby. It wants a good environment. It's about survival and thriving, right?
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
beautiful.
So
And
everything,
Story.
everything seems to be a synchronicity. And what happened about the question about peace, there was the same question that Richard Jackman asked us when we asked for feedback on our book, Blossoming in the Growing of
Nature Paradise.
intentional communities like Nature Paradise Eco Village, which is what we're on too. And so we asked ChatGPT about universal peace or about peace. And the thing that for me is that universal peace is the way to qualify it, because then it's universal peace for everybody. Because if you want peace of quiet, and you're shouting at the kids to be quiet, they don't feel that as peace. They feel that maybe as tyranny or something else. And then the whole idea of finding peace is that it's again what you mentioned, Joe, inner peace. And you can only find peace inside. Of course, when we have challenges and we don't find it inside, then we may want to reach outside to something that's a symbolism to stimulate our higher faculties of all the good attributes of compassion and agape and all that. So that's the solution that I think that Judith was asking for. How do we do this? And one of my teachers said this, and there's more and more support for this, and that is just 2 words: think, love. To get both sides of your brain cooperating, so you have all your resources. Sometimes we need analysis, right?
So I
Sometimes
love that because it's about consciousness. So if we're not conscious of what we're thinking, we're not conscious of what we're creating.
Mm.
So consciousness, I love the image of the super Christ consciousness. And so we're at a time of year from the Christian tradition. It is a very significant time of year. It's also a significant time of year from our Muslim, our Hebrew, and our other traditions. It's a significant time of year for humanity.
Yeah.
To honor that humanity has always sought and searched to understand that something that was not intellectually understandable. But when you experience something from the depth of inside your heart, the language of the soul, imagine your story and how significant it is to a child before birth, knowing at some level a vested interest to care for the mother that was giving birth to you by giving things to the mother that would help the mother's imbalance. Now, can you imagine the profoundness of the language of understanding that's coming through so many different souls? Because we're choosing paths of spirituality to honor the creativity in all of us, to open our minds and hearts, to begin to experience life in new ways by which we put language to something that mankind and humankind could never understand, but we're living through an experience now. An experience that opens our minds and open our hearts to experience what is peace for all of us. It will be unique to all of us, but the seed searching will always be there.
Another expression of that, may I interject?
Mhm.
I just discovered this year Dolores Cannon, and she's basically has no rules. She did it all on her own before psychoanalysis and hypnosis and whatever else, past life regressions became popular, and it became her specialty. And what she does, she says, I don't go to Allah, I don't go to God, and she calls it the true source. She calls it the collective, and that way she has access to all information, and it's not tied down by one particular culture and one particular slant. And so that's like I was saying before. We're all on the same page. We're all have the same message, and we choose different words just to make us, I guess, creative.
And words are energy, everything's energy. So when we're looking at expressing ourselves on these conversations, what I'm finding is it's in the authenticity of expressing what's deepest in our hearts that we get better at exchanging energy. And everything's about energy. So when you have a purity of intent to be authentic and real and genuine with what it is you're articulating, we get better at being authentic to ourselves. Be true to yourself. The ancient psalmist, when you go back to the Old Testament, physician, heal thyself, physician, know thyself. So these reoccurring themes in humanity's search beyond the darkness to discover the greatness and the goodness in all of our hearts. Every time a newborn baby is born, it's creator's reminder that the creator in all of us wants the world to continue. And so the birth of a newborn child and your story came as so related to my experience as a young mother living in Turkey, having my second child and having a little baby in the Turkish hospital with bronchiolitis. And they called her little Casper. She was so little. She was born 5 pounds, 11 ounces.
Wow.
And they would pick her up and carry her. And the nurses said when she was first born, she was like a little bird. She would open her mouth. She was ready for the breath. So these newborn children are such a joy to remind us that Creator, the all that is, simply wants the world to continue in a new form. And what we're seeing with humanity's journey through the darkness is we're awakening now to the significance of our own lives. And so the message is love. It's a message for all of us. The most important work we'll ever do is to do that deep work of knowing ourselves, to embrace beyond all the fear and the pain and the old programming of reaction, that it's time to respond to the beauty of life, to embrace it fully. And in the death of loved ones, to embrace it fully. They're on the other side. It's a lot easier over there. And they share the joy of our journey forward to be always more. So, Joey, I know we're getting close to embracing the end and the beginning of a new journey for all of us as we enter a new year. And so we're exploring changing our monthly conversations to 5 segments of the year. And that's something Kim and Joy and I'll be discussing in the coming new year. But for now, we're between one old year and an emergence to a new year. So would you like to share, as you're heading home to your family, Joey, how significant it is in your story of the one way that you did it one year and the way you're doing it this year, and how we can all see that we're all doing it differently and we're all changing in different ways to really embrace the moment and the sacredness of our own lives and our own stories. So as you keep journeying forward to your family this year, Joy, would you like to share with us how you can see all these comments affecting you to see in a different way?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's just for me being as adaptable as possible. I think there's oftentimes we kind of go into habits of this is the way that I like things, or this is the way that things are done. And sometimes I guess just going up against that for myself to see like, oh, actually, if I stop and pause here, are there more possibilities to maybe try some new methods or new roads? Which is kind of one of the ways I went down here is a very different way I'd gone in the past. And being open to seeing what potential side roads there might be, or things that I hadn't considered before, or new ways of doing things. So this time, usually I'd spend a few weeks down with that particular side of the family, and now it's going to be like 2 days. And instead, I'll be with my mom a bit longer in a different state. So it's always nice to kind of put a little bit of more randomness into there, and to see how it unfolds, and to just be happy and part of the journey. I often find sometimes that I enjoy when people spell my name wrong. Sometimes people think my name is Joy, so it's got joy in the name, just an E in the middle. And so yeah, just I'm excited to see what goes forward here. My grandmother will be here this year, which I'm really excited for. She's about an hour drive from where my dad lives, but it's 2 hours back and forth to bring her to us, plus twice to bring her back. And this time feeling very blessed because we have someone that we're paying to drive her, someone that takes her different places. So it'll take a huge load off of everybody to where somebody can bring her to us, and then I still get to see her. And then we'll get more time together because I'm not having to do the drive back and forth, and feel a bit more relaxation because of that. And then as long as my niece is feeling good, I know she was feeling a little under the weather too. Babies are getting hit hard right now. Hopefully she'll be feeling better also by tomorrow, and I'll be able to see her as well. And my sister has a little baby boy that's growing inside her right now. So we got a boy coming up in April. So lots of beautiful souls that are about to be emerging this year.
How beautiful. There's nothing like having an ability to see the elders at Christmas. And as an elder, I know I'm finding as I approach 80, I do not drive alone. And I think one of the things I love about Indigenous spirituality is how they honor the elders. And they always have a helper for the elder to drive us wherever we're going. And so I keep being invited to things, and I often say, if somebody can pick me up, I'm there, but there's no way I'm heading off in the middle of the night driving in the dark. That would be a form of insanity. And so we get to the point of wisdom rather than insanity. So right now we see a world that has an imbalance happening. It's a form of insanity. And so we're backing away from that, and we're beginning to get rooted and we're solid. I often say to people, when you look at Christmas, look at the imagery of a sacred tree of life. And we're all called to be the fruit. And so that you see in every Christmas, some people have Christmas trees and some people have different ways of celebrating the spirituality of the message of love. But every tradition is yearning for the same thing, that every newborn child be born into a family of love. And love is the most important message for this time of year. So as you journey home for all your generations, Joey, as an uncle, we begin to see the significance of the modern nuclear family is very complicated. In our case, we have our son and grandson coming to spend Christmas with my daughter and I, and then heading back to spend Christmas again with what I call the modern nuclear family, where the families are coming together from many, many ways of that tree of life having different roots going different places all over the place. And so with modern technology, we have this capacity to still be together, be it from phone or by Zoom or by person. We can still share the significance of the power of love at this time of year. And it's so nice to see all of you. Here we are. We have Joey in Colorado heading west. We have Kim in Philadelphia. We have Sylvia and Marty over in Barhaven, Ottawa, and we have me in Gatineau, Quebec. So what is more powerful in these times than to see that the deep spirituality of the power of love, of the message of the Christ, that simply said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Bring love, take out love, go in twos and threes and share the message of community. Care for each other. And when you care for each other, you exchange an energy that raises the vibration of consciousness to the consciousness, the subconscious, and the super Christ consciousness. We're all looking for the same thing. We're all searching for the same thing. And we're all the ones we've been waiting to meet, because it's in all of us that this new cosmology yearns to be born. And again, we're getting back to the word born, born, born. What are we going to bring forth in the way of fruit from the sacred tree of life, where people from all over the world have roots to the one mother, the planet Mother Earth? And what are we going to do with those roots? How are we going to make that trunk of our tree grow strong and resilient and live from the courage of our convictions that we're the ones we've been waiting for to change? No one can change but we ourselves. So in us all is this new cosmology yearning to be born and seen. And I believe it's in new projects, in using creativity and creation and the wisdom of our own passions, of knowledge, such as Thomas was sharing a moment ago. His journey to bring forth light to understanding something significant takes us back to the simplicity of Mother Earth, giving us the medicines we need to bring balance back to whatever the imbalance might be. So on this wonderful day of the day after solstice, we're emerging into more light already. And so Kim, would you like to offer us a few words as we continue this story in the new year? We're going to be thinking about doing something on January the 16th, and we'll arrange to discuss later what we're going to be doing. But let's have this wonderful time out to create that sacred space, to let spirit come through, to see what spirit would like our Wellness Learning Center to bring forth for a new year, our new baby, our new project, and how will it look?
I think that's beautiful. You know, thinking about new projects and new years, like it just kind of goes hand in hand. And I think being able to step into the new year or whatever new projects you have going on, stepping into them with compassion and understanding. And that's how, in my opinion, that's how we create peace, is by bringing our compassion to what we're doing, bringing it to the table. Because when we can have compassion for each other or the process or the like a thing that we might be dealing with that might be frustrating or something, bringing that compassion to whatever it is will bring us peace. And you know, especially at this time of year when everyone has their own idea of how we should celebrate and what we should do, and well, we want to do it this way, and what do you mean you're not coming, and like all these things. Come forward with compassion, because that will ease our souls and ease our minds and help us to get in tune with supporting each other as we were meant to do, right? It's about love. It's about bringing us together and supporting each other, nurturing each other's bond as humans. And it, just like the baby supporting the mother, and then the mother supports the baby, which I think is amazing. I never knew that about babies. The fetus would do that. I knew that when the baby is sick, the mother produces antibodies in the milk supply, but I didn't know that it went the other way around. So what a beautiful cycle of giving and support. And, you know, our souls come together so that we can support each other in this journey of living. And so how are you supporting your soul family? We are each other's soul family. How are we bringing forth our compassion and helping each other navigate this journey? Because the next project is going to be exciting, no doubt. There's always excitement. There's always new adventure, new possibilities. So what are you bringing to that new experience? You get to create it. So I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful new year, and make it what you want. You have the power to do that. Make it what you want it to be.
I love we have the power. Anyone like to add some closing comments before Joey's going to bring us to an end? And I'm just wondering now, Kim, would you like to honor us by a closing prayer after Joey gives us a little bit of an update on where he's coming from as he merges into this journey forward on his trip home and then back again to the work that he does around helping people heal from emotional trauma and help them move forward in their lives and give them hope. Because once we have a message from another being that we can do better, but we need somebody that can be a labor of love, like a midwife, to help us do this labor of our souls, shining in a world that needs so much light, that we're here to begin that labor of birth for all of us in this new year that's emerging. So Joey, would you like to add words?
Yes, I have something to add before we proceed with the rest of the agenda you just described. And I'd like to call back one of the one-liners from Judith when she was saying that when people are feeling, then they know they're becoming alive.
Mm.
And I have two of my teachers, and when they would want feedback from people, there'd be two questions. I'm combining them together. How do you feel? And then also, what are you experiencing? So I find that's quite valuable because they're open-ended questions, consistent with conflict resolution or compassionate communication.
Thank you, Tom.
My
That's
contribution.
so important because you see, a lot of people. I remember years ago, if somebody asked me how do I feel, I couldn't tell them because I could not feel.
And just on that, let me say, last night at the Tom Brewer Arena, where we had 100 people, and people would go into the sauna for 5 minutes and they'd come out. And sometimes I would get, and I wouldn't let it rest with that. They'd come with an answer, I feel better. I feel fine. I said, wait a minute. What does it sound like? What does it hear like? What does it look like? What color does it have? And then they say, oh, I feel much warmer. Well, great. That's something. That's value added.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge people sometimes.
Same here. I love that you do.
Yeah, and I love it. I think Thomas and Joey would have a wonderful conversation just on their own.
We had one recently, actually.
Yeah, we did recently.
There you go.
We'll chat
Yeah,
more.
I already knew.
You already knew, yeah.
Yeah, because that's really what we're coming down to is how do we put words to a feeling? Because if a feeling is nonverbal at its base, trying to convert that to something verbal can sometimes be a difficulty. But I think it's a very important thing to practice because if we can become better at that, then we can become better at expressing our internal world to others outside of us and enhancing their ability to do the same and to maybe have better forms of communication that are more aligned, because often times we're saying two different things but feeling the same thing, and then we get confused. So being able to align those more effectively, I think, is helpful for everybody. And while I was here just 2 nights ago, there's an owl that's in the neighborhood, or actually a pair of owls. So I got to see them up on the roof, and just the small amount of time that I saw them, it like kind of like stretched itself up, and it had this like white covering in the front. And it was just so huge. Like I didn't expect it to be that large when it was able to stand up. But even without knowing it was there, it's like you can hear the sound, and that sound by itself creates a feeling. And it was just a beautiful thing. And then to come here as well with with our OWL team was a great thing. So today we covered solstice celebrations, a little bit more of learning to surrender and finding that inner peace, especially while either staying at home or being with family, and all the beautiful garden of trauma that family can bring up, where we get to see pieces of ourselves and pieces of them, as well as the love and compassion that comes along with that too. It's usually a good mixed bag of things. Thank love, and then also strengthening the tree roots of ourselves, our life, and our family. And you've got the power, all of you. And then also bringing compassion into conversations with all of our family. So today's been a lovely journey with you all. As Judith mentioned, we're looking at sometime in middle January. I think you said around the 16th. So next year we're going to be meeting, I think 4 or 5 times within the year, instead of monthly. So that'll help us to bring a bit more signal into each conversation, have some more time in between. And then you can always find our previous recordings on YouTube. I'll post the link in there, as well as the schedule will be on the OWL website. We can post that as well. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Judith, did you say you wanted to end with a prayer?
Yeah, what I was going to say is, Joey, I think we tentatively have January 26th. That will confirm between you and Kim and I as a possibility on a theme. I have a vision for 2024. And that will give us a wonderful period of reflection and that deeper inner work that we're talking about, to create the sacred space to just be still and do nothing. Let's create some space for spirit to come through. The power of love and the creativity that the universe seeks to express through all of us. In these challenging times, it's also opportunity for great healing and growth, and for the wholeness that we all yearn to leave for all future generations. For all the newborn babies born, they're bringing us a very clear message that the universe wants this wonderful, wonderful world to continue, but it has to be a world of love and care and compassion and empathy and understanding. And the work we do to begin to be in relationship with ourselves from the depth of our own essence is the greatest work we'll ever do, because it's a labor of love to be still and know ourselves. We have little babies ourselves that are yearning to be born. The newborn baby in all of us. May that be the blessing of this wonderful conversation today, of peace in all of our hearts emerging. And so, Kim, I was inviting you to maybe do a closing prayer, and I'd just like to acknowledge and thank Sylvia and Marty for joining us today. It's been a real joy. And when I feel joy, it's because I see friends like you, and there is a connection. Kim.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to kind of lead everyone. So if everyone just wants to get centered for a moment, you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable and focus on your heart space, kind of just settling in. If you're sitting in a chair or reclining or wherever you are, allow the body to rest, and whatever is holding you, allow that to hold your body. So centering into your heart, and just imagine a white light emanating from your heart space. This is the light of your soul. This is the light of God, Spirit, Source. And just allow that light to expand from your heart outwards through your whole body until you are completely filled with light. You can breathe through that process. And just notice the light getting brighter and brighter. And notice how you're feeling in your body physically. Maybe you feel warmer with this light shining inside of you. Maybe you start to feel this sense of joy or peace bubbling up inside you. Whatever feeling you're noticing in your body and your thoughts in your heart, just notice that. As you're being with the light, take just a moment to think about the number 2024 and anything you want to create. What is it that you want to be feeling in 2024? Not doing, but feeling. How do you want to feel? And however that is, create that feeling in your heart and in your body right now. If you want to feel more joy, imagine joy spreading through your body with that light. If you want to feel more love, imagine that love. Feel your heart just opening and gushing with the feeling of love, being held, being caressed. Whatever it is for you, just allow that feeling to fill you. And this is the feeling that you get to create. You can do this by just feeling it. You focus on the feeling first. So feel what it is that you want to feel. And then take that energy of the feeling and bring that feeling into what you're doing in your life. Bring it into 2024. And don't think about, but, it's not going to work. Don't forget that. Just feel it. Feel it. Forget your thoughts. Let your body feel this experience and bring it forward and let yourself play with this space. And this is an exercise that you guys can take with you. We're going to be coming back to this space so that we can close out our call, but please take this experience with you as we go into the new year, as we go into this season of joy and peace. Focus on the feeling that you want and then feel it and watch it grow in your relationships. Watch it grow in your life. Watch it be created. The more you feel it, the more you will see it around you. And taking a nice deep breath in, come back to the space that you're in. You can wiggle your body, you can stretch. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and welcome back. And may you take that feeling with you into the coming year. And we will see you next year. Many blessings, everybody.
And peace. This
Peace.
is my little tree that says, peace be unto you all. And so it is. And thank you so much, Kim. That was beautiful.
That's an interesting shape of the peace tree. It looks like a point of pie or cake.
Isn't that neat? I love people's creativity. A tree can be anything these days.
Love you all.
A piece of pie.
A person, anything you want to be. So thank you all. And I'll take a moment to have a couple of minutes with Kim and Joey, but I just want to thank you all so much. It's a blessing to have you all here.
Yeah, it's such a gift to be with you all. Thank you so much. See you next year.
Bye now.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Well.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.